Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks, Zinnov, for the opportunity to present. All right, so we power the travel industry, and we are the backbone on which the travel industry transacts. Right? The theme of this conference is blitzscaling. If you talk about Amadeus, we personify blitzscaling on a daily basis. Some numbers about the company. All right. So in terms of the number of bookings that we do on the Amadeus platform, there are more than 600 million bookings that happen on the Amadeus platform on a yearly basis. That's more than 4 million bookings on a daily basis, right? If you look at our airport solutions and the departure control systems, we have more than 1.8 billion passengers that board aircrafts and fly out on the Amadeus platform. That's 1.8 billion transactions, passengers boarded on a yearly basis. That's a lot of numbers. And at peak, we experience a traffic of more than 100,000 transactions per second. So if the theme of the conference is blitzscaling, we are there. Okay. Let me start with a quick audience poll. How many of you traveled to reach this location? And I'm not going to talk about Bangalore traffic because I heard we were all told to make a pledge not to talk about the traffic locally. But how many of you flew in? If you can show of hands. Let me do a quick poll. How many of you had an experience like this, which is peaceful? Let's say in the last 6 months travel that you did to various customer locations or your parent organizations. Or was it like this? A, peaceful, raise your hand. Not so peaceful, if you can raise your hand. All right, the session is right after lunch, or right after the morning session, right after a break. Looks like people are even lazy enough not even to raise their hands. But I'm sure a few of you have experienced some chaos in the travel industry as you fly through airports and so on. Right? Travel really is a painful experience today. Right? There are many, many parts, moving parts that come together to make travel function in the world. You have the airports, you have the airlines, you have the baggage handlers, you have the ground transportation, and so on and so forth, right? So travel really is not, it can sometimes be painful, okay? When you think about travel and you're trying to inspire yourself to travel somewhere, what do? In the past, you used to go to a travel agency and say, okay, I want to go from destination A to B, and then they would book a ticket for you, right? Technology advanced, and then off late, we are getting into these online travel portals, and we start a search. Then, of course, we do want to compare and make sure we are getting the best deal for ourselves, and then starts the journey, right? You then need to find the right schedule, you need to make a payment for your air ticket, you need to book your seats, and so on and so forth. And then your air ticket is done, then you move on to your hotel, right? And you start the same process all over again. So then the ground transportation comes later. So that's the first part where when you're booking, there are several steps that you have to do for yourself, right? Cut to the airport. You get to the airport, and the experience is not as pleasant either, right? You hit a lot of crowd. I'm sure many of you have taken these midnight to 4 a.m. flights in Bangalore airport, and you dread reaching the airport because you know you're going to get stuck in a large immigration line, and then security, and so on and so forth, right? So the experience at the airport is not as pleasant either. On top of that, then you start experiencing some delays, some disruptions, some weather-related disruptions, and soon you're told your flight is 3 years delayed, and you will reach instead 6 hours late to your location, right? So it's not a pleasant experience, and it leaves people feeling a bit like this. How many of you know what this screen is? It's a movie from Hollywood. It's a movie called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you have not seen the movie, you should. I strongly recommend you should. It's hilarious. It's the protagonist is Steve Martin. He's trying to get back home for a Thanksgiving weekend and faces several disruptions in his travel. I mean, he gets on a flight, the flight gets canceled, he gets on a train, the train gets hit by a snow blizzard, then he gets into a car, and the car gets spoiled, and so on and so forth. and really he faces a lot of disruption, right? This is what we experience, a lot of us experience these days, right? Now, interestingly, I mean, while I was also looking up material on this movie, I found out that this was made in 1987. And coincidentally, that's when Amadeus was created too, to solve these kind of travel problems, okay? A good coincidence. Why is travel so complex? Because there is the physical world and the digital world that are coming together, and there's a lot of interplay happening between them. So on the physical world, at the end of the day, travel is physically moving people from one city to another, right? So there are more than 7.5 billion passengers that move from one city to another on a daily basis, right? On a yearly basis. You also have the limits that our airports are reaching, the infrastructure limits that cities are facing, and so on. That's the physical aspect of travel. And then there is the digital aspect, because more and more you're getting online. There is a proliferation of data around travel. There are security requirements, privacy requirements, and so on, and personalization, right? As travelers, we're all getting sophisticated and saying, okay, I need a customized solution just for myself. No longer it's good enough that an airline says I have an airline seat or a flight going from A to B, and if you want, get on it, right? It's not good enough for us as travelers, right? So this interplay between the physical world and the digital world is what is making travel complex. Okay. Now let me then get into what is the future of travel going to look like. The future of travel is going to be personalized. As I mentioned, wouldn't it be nice that you want to travel somewhere and your travel provider, your airline and your airport and your hotel chain already know your preferences, what you like, whether you like a window seat, whether you like a non-smoking room on a higher floor, whether you like a sedan or a limo when you travel, ground transportation. Wouldn't it be good if your travel providers, they all work together and provide a customized, tailored solution for you, right? So it will be personalized in the future. It will also be sustainable, right? At the end of the day, all of us have a responsibility towards this environment. There are countries who are already waking up on this, and the Nordic countries are already telling their citizens, you should take lesser flights, you should travel less, because it's not environment friendly, right? And as travel technology providers, we do have a responsibility towards this to make it a little bit better and make sure that the carbon footprint that is getting left behind as flights take off and land is minimized, right? So travel needs to be sustainable. And last but not the least, travel needs to be connected, right? Again, as I said, why do you have to book a flight ticket separately, a hotel separately, a ground transportation separately, and then add on top the ancillaries of a meal and extra baggage and so on? Why not all these players work closely together for us, for you as travelers, and connect the entire ecosystem? Right? Sure enough, we are, as a technology provider, we are working towards making travel a better experience for all of us. How is the future going to look like? You just need to ask. You just need to ask, saying, I need to travel from destination A to B, and all of these aspects of travel will be playing seamlessly for you. The search, the bookings, the way through the airports, the connection between the airline and the hotel and the ground transportation, the baggage. Why should you go to the airport to drop a baggage? It will get picked up from your house, right? All these aspects of travel is getting connected by technology providers like Amadeus and others, and travel will be a seamless experience. Okay. How does this going to transform your experience, and how is technology disrupting travel? I'm going to pick 3 use cases and demonstrate that how the future of travel is brighter for all of us. Let's start with the first one, which is touchless booking, right? As I said, previously you were going to travel agencies and physically going to a brick and mortar shop and booking your travel. We then started getting online. That's not good enough, right? Even that experience is not becoming pleasant for us. What's it going to look like in the future? Here we go. Now, All right, can someone click and the video play? I'm going to talk about disruption. There is some disruption already happening here, right? And we will react and recover. Hopefully. All right? So the demo, when we get it together, is on a conversational commerce where you're sitting in your drawing room and you're talking to Alexa and letting Alexa be your digital assistant and taking care of your travel booking. Okay? Unfortunately, we can't get it playing.
Alexa,
Or here we go.
open airline assistant.
Welcome back, Giridhara. How may I help you today?
Can you book a flight from Paris to London for tomorrow?
Should I search for a return flight as well?
No. Alexa, open airline assistant.
Welcome back, Giridhara. How may I help you today?
Can you book a flight from Paris to London for tomorrow?
Should I search for a return flight as well?
No.
Which class would you like me to select? Economy, business, or first?
Business?
You wish to fly business class from Paris to London on August 8, 2018. Is that right?
Yes.
Please wait while I search for fares matching your search criteria. I have found the best selection according to your criteria. Your flight departs Paris on August 8, 2018 at 9:20 a.m. The total price for your selection comes up to €203.04. Do you want me to proceed with this fare?
Okay, go ahead.
I will be booking tickets for Mr. Giridhara of Adani. Please confirm.
Yes.
Do you wish to authorize your card ending 7858 for payment?
Yes.
Could you please tell your 4-digit secret code?
9916.
Please wait while I process the payment for your booking. Your booking has been confirmed. Your booking reference is N5VGPM. The booking details have been sent to your registered email ID. Your passport is issued by India. As you are traveling to United Kingdom, you need a visa. More details of the visa requirement is sent to your Alexa app as a card. Do let me know if you need help with any flight-related.
All right, so that's how the future of travel bookings is going to look like. Right? Unfortunately, the video didn't play, but the audio did. Right? And that was kind of giving you the gist of the message. And it's going to be all conversational. You're going to be talking to your digital assistants and giving you a few requirements to it, and it will take care of all the bookings, including the payment, including the integration with all the other travel providers. Right? Now, that's not a prototype. That's a live system that is already being used by a few airlines. Okay? So that's how booking is going to get touchless and frictionless. Right? Let's move on. You've done your booking, things are looking good, now you're reaching the airport. So the second use case I'll pick up is the experience at the airport, and hopefully it'll be a better experience. So the entire airport experience is getting transformed using biometrics. Okay. Why is it so important for the industry to transform itself? Of course, the number of passengers are growing, the airports are growing, are becoming larger, but they are also pushing the limit. I think 6 months back, Bangalore Airport published a news article in the Times of India saying they created a record by having a flight take off every minute. Okay, look at how that system is getting pushed to its limit. That even a minute of disruption in Bangalore Airport can cause a domino effect in the world, right? So obviously, it's extremely important for airports to work extremely efficiently, and biometrics is how we will get there. Okay. How does it work? So the first thing you need to do is, of course, all of us have a smartphone. You get into the system and scan your passport and click a selfie. And I know we're all good at clicking selfies, so that part requires no training. So you click a selfie, and that's it. You're done. Your identity is identified. You go to the airport. as you're walking through your check-in counters, the biometric server is scanning your face and matching you to the passport that you scanned, is matching you to your boarding pass, and lo and behold, you're into the flight. Okay? This is going to reduce the boarding time by more than 75%. You look at the last bullet there, it's going to be 2 seconds on an average boarding a flight, right? Now, how many of you will take that, right? So biometrics is going to be the future of travel in the airports. By the way, this is already a real system being used in some airports. That's an Amadeus system working in Ljubljana Airport in Slovenia. So I strongly recommend the next time you're passing through that airport, get your sneakers on, because if you want to get onto your flight in 2 seconds, you need to run, okay? And the systems will support that for you. Okay? So that's how biometrics is transforming the airport experience. Let's move on, right? The third big area that all travel providers are struggling with is disruption, right? Because the entire network is so tightly packed, any disruption is caused in one city, in one corner of the world, it impacts many airports and many airlines at the same time. Disruption is a large industry. It's causing the airlines and the airports a lot of revenue loss. It's more than $60 billion per year. More than the revenue loss, it's more the passenger experience that all of us experience is not so great, right? Anytime a disruption happens. Why is it so complex? An airline and an airport, anytime a disruption happens, have to juggle many parameters together, right? First of all, of course, it's the passenger experience. That's the experience all of us go through as travelers. You get into an airport and you hear a disruption, you know you have to get out and you have to reaccommodate yourself onto a new flight and stand in a queue and make sure that you're taken care of, right? That's one aspect. The second aspect is all the equipment, the aircrafts, the baggage belts, and so on. So that's the second aspect that all travel providers juggle with. The third one is, of course, the peripheral services like the crew, the catering, the ground handlers. Again, that's the third lever. And the fourth one is, of course, cost, right? Juggling these four together is extremely complex, right? But thankfully, with technology, we now have enough solutions in place using complex operation research algorithms where you can tell a system, this month, I want to take care of my passengers a lot more than worrying about cost. So make sure that the passenger experience is protected and when a disruption happens, okay? Or you could take any combination of these four and input in a system. That's an Amadeus system, by the way, called Schedule Recovery, running quite well in Sydney Airport. And it uses advanced operation research algorithms and machine learning and AI to make sure that the solution that it provides to the airport and the airline is the most efficient for what the airline worries about, okay? So that's disruption management. Again, technology is revolutionizing that. So I talked about 3 use cases and how the booking experience, the airport experience, and disruption is going to get managed seamlessly. How is all this coming together? Those are, as I said, those are real systems that are already in play in various airports and airlines. So the future is not in the future is now. Thank you.